Dead Rising gives Frank West unlimited numbers of item slots, 4 at the start. You unlock more as you level up, capping out at 12. But for a big chunk of the game, you're working with very little space. Sounds like a small design detail. It isn't. Because every slot you fill is a choice, and in a game where a timer is always running and survivors are always dying, what you choose says something about the kind of player you are. You've got a mall full of weapons, food, and useless junk. You've got survivors who need healing, protection, and sometimes a weapon placed directly in their hands. And at the beginning of the game, you have exactly 4 slots to hold all of it. So the question the game keeps asking quietly over and over is this: what matters enough to carry? Let's look at how the inventory actually works, because it's worth understanding before we get into what it means. Frank picks up almost anything. Baseball bats, frying pans, handguns, orange juice, novelty masks, and gumball machines, and any other things that's there at the mall. The Willamette Mall is full of stuff, and most of it works as a weapon or a healing item. The freedom feels great early on. You grab whatever you find and start swinging. Then the limit hits you. You're deep in the store, you got a good weapon, some food, and a book that gives you items a durability boost. A survivor needs help across the map. You want to bring a gun for the psychopath waiting there, but your slots are full. Something has to go. That moment is the whole game in miniature. Dead Rising doesn't lecture you about priorities. It gives you a tiny inventory and lets you feel the weight of every decision. There's no tutorial pop-up that explains what you should drop. The game just waits while you figure it out. Now think about what food does in this system. Food heals you. Orange juice, milk, snacks, full meals from the restaurants. Each one restores health. In a game where zombies chip away at you constantly and bosses hit you like a truck, healing matters. One well-timed orange juice keeps you alive through a fight that will otherwise destroy you. But food takes a slot. Every drink you carry is a slot you can't use for a weapon or a survivor's gun. So you start doing the math. How many healing items do you actually need? How much risk are you willing to take to free up space? From your perspective, as the player, this creates real tension. You want to feel prepared. You also want to move fast and carry the right tools. Inventory forces you to pick a lane. Play cautious and stock up on food, or play lean and trust your skills. There's no correct answer. That's the point. Then the survivors change everything. Escorting survivors is the heart of Dead Rising. You find them scattered across the mall, scared and often useless in a fight. Your job is to bring them back to the security room alive. Some follow well, some panic, and some fight way better if you hand them a weapon. And that last part hits your inventory directly. A survivor with a handgun or a lead pipe stands a much better chance of surviving the trip back, but that weapon comes from your slots. When you hand an item to a survivor, it leaves your inventory. You give up a part of your own loadout to keep someone else's alive. You carry less so they make it home. Think about what that means for a second. The game turns generosity into a mechanic. Every gun you hand a survivor is a gun you don't have. Every slot you sacrifice is a bet that this person is worth saving. Some players won't take that bet. They keep their slots full of weapons, books, and food, and they let the harder survivors fend for themselves. The game allows it. Nobody's stopping you. The clock keeps ticking and the story keeps moving. But the game remembers. When a survivor dies, their name shows up on the end screen, or you just see the empty space where they should be in the security room. You know who you saved and who you didn't. That record is permanent for that run. And a lot of those failures trace back to one thing. You didn't have the space, or you didn't want to make the space. That's where the inventory stops being a practical puzzle and starts being something else. Look at how this plays out with your loadout as you level up. Frank starts with weak options and only 4 slots. As you earn prestige points, your inventory grows, first to 6 slots, then 8, 10, and finally 12 at level 50. At the same time, you start finding better tools, firearms, katanas, mini chainsaws. You also find books that make those weapons last 3 times as long, but those books take up inventory slots too. If you want the ultimate combat build, you might carry 2 or 3 books just above one weapon, plus healing items. Suddenly, even with 10 or 12 slots, your bag is completely full. You become strong and selfish at the same time. The game lets you build that version of Frank if you want, loaded for war, caring nothing for anyone else. He clears rooms fast. He also watches people die because he had no spare weapon to hand out and no room to carry an extra healing item for an NPC. Or you build the other Frank. Fewer books, more food, and always a spare weapon for whoever needs it. He struggles more in a straight fight. He saves more people. His slots hold other people's survival instead of his own firepower. Neither Frank is wrong. Both works as ways to play, but they're different people, and the inventory is what separates them. Here's the part that sticks with me though. The timer makes all of this harder. Dead Rising runs on a real clock. Cases expire, survivors have windows, and you can't do anything. So you're not really just deciding what to carry, but you're deciding what to carry right now, with time running out, while people wait. That pressure strips away the power fantasy. You can't be the perfect hero who saves everyone and stays fully stocked. You have to have a limited bag and a shrinking clock. You do what you can with what fits. And that limitation, more than any cutscene or line of dialogue, tells you what Dead Rising thinks about heroism. The game gives you a photojournalist with pockets that only hold so much. Frank isn't a soldier with infinite ammo and a tactical vest, but he's just a guy in the mall just trying to help people while staying alive. The inventory keeps him human, and it keeps you human too, because a real rescue costs something. You give up a slot, you give up firepower, and you give up safety of a full loadout so a stranger can walk home. That's a small sacrifice on paper. In the moment with zombies closing in and your health dropping, it feels like a lot. So did the developers plan the inventory as a moral test? Probably not in the exact words, but it creates a survival mechanic first. It creates tension and forces choices, which is what good game design does, but the effect is real either way. 4 slots at the start and even 12 at the end turn every store in the mall into a decision about priorities. They turn generosity into a cost you can measure. They make you choose constantly between your own safety and someone else's. Most games let you carry everything. Dead Rising doesn't. And that single limit does more character work than most zombie stories manage in the hours of a cutscenes. You are what you carry, and you are also what you leave behind. So what did your inventory look like on your first run? Were you hoarding books and weapons, or did you save a slot for someone else who needed it? Drop it in the comments. I want to know how you played it. And if you're into these kind of breakdowns, there's more coming. I have not been posting in a while. I've been really busy, man, but I still make time on YouTube. But still, hey man, I got more videos coming in the future, so stay tuned. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care.